It's time to rank the ACC programs, not teams, programs. What do we care about here? How do we define a program? Let's quick reminder. We define a program by how good you acquire talent, recruiting disproportionately, but also the portal. We care about your wins and losses. How have you done on the field? We care about your resource pool. You broke? You got some money in the pockets? How's the facility picture looking? And also we care about organizational stability. You having to fire folks? You got constant roster and coaching churn, and we care about these things over a rolling 4-year period. So at any given point, to define a program, I want a 4-year snapshot of those things. And with that in mind, I think it's pretty obvious Clemson is still the number 1 program in the ACC. You can say they're trending down. That's all relative, though. Clemson had a long way to trend down before they relinquished the top spot of ACC programs. They have won 6 of the last 8 ACC championships, including 2 of the past 3. No one touches them. No one's touching them. In that part, they're the number 2 recruiting program, number 2 talent acquisition program. In the conference right now, the foundation, been rock solid. Organizationally, they've been rock solid. 0 doubt. You can question methodology or strategy here and there. Dabo's got the best program. Clemson's got the best program in the ACC. And it's the only program there that has a championship pedigree. It's the only one, even to this day, where I can look at them and say, I could see Clemson winning a national championship. I can't say that about Miami yet under Mario. I can't say that about Mike Norvell and Florida State. I have no clue what they're going to be, and I can't say that about anyone else in the conference. Like Louisville at their best, it's probably not a national championship contender. No one else in the ACC is. So Clemson, by a pretty wide margin right now, I think is the number 1 program in the ACC. Now, here's where it gets not fun per se. I don't want to go as far as to say we're about to have fun, but this gets debatable. Hey, quick timeout. Check and see if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. If you're not, I humbly ask that you click subscribe. It's free. It doesn't sign you up for anything. What it does is it helps us keep this show free so we can just do college football year-round. All right, back to the clip. So I think Miami's the number 2 program in the ACC now. They're the number 1 talent acquisition program. When you factor in recruiting and portal, no one's acquiring talent better than them. So then the follow-up is, yeah, but they're not winning with it. Well, they are. They are. Maybe not as much as you or I predicted them to this past year, but somehow Mario's turned 10 wins into a disappointment at Miami. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. So they've improved their record year over year, 3 years that he's been there. Their recruiting and their talent acquisition has soared up to the number 1 spot in the conference. You can tell me they're not elite, and I would agree with you, they're not. Who are we putting above them? Factoring in the criteria we're factoring in here, who are we putting above them? I can't put Florida State above them right now. I have no clue what Florida State is. Last year was devastating, which brings me to my next point. Florida State is still number 3 because this is the reason we do this. The reason we do program rankings instead of just team rankings, because we do both of them. But the reason we add program rankings in is because Florida State, even though they just had a disastrous 2024, I got Florida State as the number 3 program still in the ACC. I just can't believe 2024 happened. If you defined what you thought the worst case would be for Florida State last year, they were several losses worse than worst case. But as bad as it was, that's 1 year. So we're factoring in a rolling 4-year blend here. It's the difference between a team and a program. Theoretically, last year was just a team. Now, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't really nervous about what that meant for the program, but it doesn't just get turned off overnight. They've got a 13-win season and a 10-win season baked into the last 4 years. I'm not overlooking that. I'm not forgetting that just because last year was a disaster. The outcomes of their approach make them prone to volatility. So until they get their recruiting structure in such a shape where they're disproportionately leaning on that instead of the portal, they're going to be prone to up and down and up and down. I don't like it. I don't love it. But that also means they could immediately bounce back this year. Could. Nevertheless, I got Florida State at number 3. Louisville's at number 4. I considered putting them at number 3. Louisville, I have thought for a while, is the most underrated program in college football. I think they're led by the most underrated head coach in college football. Their last 4 years, 6 wins, 8 wins, 10 wins, 9 wins. Jeff Brom, I don't think most people would quickly rank as a top 10 head coach. I think Louisville's got a top 10 head coach in college football. So they're in a blessed position there. They are probably also the best portal-reliant program out there right now. They do, to a large degree, what Florida State's been doing. They just do it more consistently. There's less volatility with Louisville's approach. Florida State goes and rides the portal to a 13-win season, and then they ride the portal straight into Hades the next year. Louisville's just, they hadn't won the conference, but Louisville also hadn't dipped below 8 wins the past 3 years. So they are solidly in there as a top 4. If you wanted to argue with me that they should be the number 3 program, I wouldn't push back. But Florida State's highs have been higher than Louisville's. That's why Florida State got the edge. This number 5 spot's tough too. SMU has been in the ACC for about 30 minutes. I got SMU as the 5th best program in this conference. Now, they had good records coming in, but you thought, is that going to translate to Power League football? Yeah, it did. They played for the conference title last year. Schedule was very workable. I can't do anything about that. I can just judge them based on what's there. They also, as a program, I love sort of the won't be denied attitude they have. I can't quantify that. It's pretty anecdotal. I'm looking for supporting evidence to back up my ranking of them. I admit that. The recruiting lately has ramped up. You can see in the trajectory of a lot of their criticals, you can see an acknowledgement that we're in the ACC now. We're going to have to ramp it up. And they have. They've leveled up in several areas. And I already think they were pretty good when they got here. So I got SMU 5. All right, 6 through 10. I'll cut it off at 10. I could go any order here. 5 through 8, really, I could go any order. 6 through 8 especially, I could go any order. I put Duke at number 6. They got 3 straight 8-win seasons. They've been a good team, really good program. They've got head coaching turnover, so they lost Mike Elko. They brought in Manny Diaz. They just made an ultra-aggressive move in the portal to get that quarterback from Tulane. So I got them at 6. I got NC State at 7. Very small gap here, splitting hairs to argue this. Losing season last year dinged them, only because when things are that neck and neck, the result of one season can raise you or drop you a few degrees more than normal. Georgia Tech, I've got at 8. Program is in total ascension mode. Their recruiting classes last 3 cycles, 62nd up to 33rd, up to 21st. On field, they've had a big jump. And, you know, I think they'd be garnering a lot more headlines had they won that 42 overtime game against Georgia. They didn't, so they're still in the weeds a little bit. I would suspect Georgia Tech will be higher than 8 when we do this next spring. I got North Carolina 9. I got Syracuse 10. Again, you're kind of splitting hairs when you get down there. So there you go, our top 10 in the ACC. And for the record, the odds to win the 2025 ACC championship, Georgia Tech's got better odds than Florida State now. So forget about what the programs are ranked. That's what the teams are in line to do, at least in the odds board right now.